how was first day of pads, how was short practice there for you? What were we trying to get out of day one in pads to get a sense of?
Same thing we try to get out every day. There's things we got to work on and improve. Put the pads on. These guys have been working pretty good. I mean, we're not going to go out. It's just another part of the ramp up, Mike. So you're coming off a day off, and I think that's where the league and everybody using all the information we have and the data we have to get smarter as we ramp these guys up. So you come out here first day in pads, and you're not going to have some long 3-hour practice. I thought our guys competed pretty well today, and I thought took another step in the right direction.
Ryan, it was Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing that we consider long term, but I'm not going to give a daily report. It'll be just like all of our guys, they're on different return to play. But until we have to get the injury report, I can tell you it's nothing that we consider long term. We'll take it day by day.
Dion, you all gonna check back in with him? Is he close to returning? Dion,
I'm not gonna give a timeline on him, but obviously, D-Led, our job is we check on all our players every day.
Well, you said a week.
I said we'll have a better idea, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna come out here and give you a State of the Union every day on Deion Jones. He's working like all of our guys to get. What's that?
You said a week last week, so I waited a week to double
Yeah,
check.
but what was our first practice? Was it Wednesday? What's today? Monday, right? Yeah. So he's working, and I don't have a firm timetable for you. So again, I know how to count to 7, and it hasn't been a week yet.
What are you liking from Demir Bird? It looked like he had a nice diving catch there.
Yeah, he's coming out here. There's a group of guys at receiver rooms. A lot of good competition going. Guys that we signed that are in here that are in great shape. Hodge, Demir, Alden, Cam Batson, Darby. Those guys are all in there in the mix competing. But Bird showed up again today.
Part of the first day off, you pleased with the way the team responded to having a day off and then bouncing back out to work?
Yeah, shows the professional character we have. Again, we've had good work. And, like I said, contrary to popular belief, we didn't cancel practice on Saturday. I know that got in the link economy, but that was the last play of practice. So these guys have been working, and we'll continue to strive to improve.
When you look at, again, when you're starting to get into pads, do you want to kind of run more early those first couple days to get running backs acclimated to contact?
It's everybody got to get acclimated. And again, the real test will be in Detroit, when you try to simulate some stuff, but until guys really get tackled for the first time and you're in space making those tackles and stuff we work on every day, we're just not taking guys to the ground. And just part of the build-up.
Coach, anybody distinguish themselves as far as the offensive line?
Yeah, sure, Jake and Chris.
As you know, teams used to practice in pads a lot more than now.
Right.
So do you pay closer to attention to how guys are responding when you're in pads now because you don't have that many opportunities?
Yeah, I know. You try not to get too nostalgic. Walking uphill to 2 miles uphill both ways like you did to go to school, Jeff. But the fortunate. You got guys like Dean, who's been coaching for 100 years, and guys, we got an experienced staff. And then I was thankful to work for Joe Gibbs, so I've seen, how he ran an old training camp. The rules are what they are, and it's all relative. And we try to be smart, but we try to be intentional and trying to build these guys up. But you want to see really day after day. I think this week's a good proving ground. It's a long week for these guys, and I think we'll have a pretty good idea about people by the end of the week.
You'll find out more about guys individually than you would have just hit their shows or
yeah, you think so. Obviously, they had the grind. It's not just physically, but also mentally. There's so much physical movements that go on out here, but the mental part is what can wear some guys out too.
Been at this for a while, just in your career. How long does it take for you to figure out? All right, I think a guy's got her. I think a guy's improved versus I'm not really liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Case by case. There's some guys that you think that take pretty good jumps year 2, year 3. There's some guys that you hope to work through stuff that you may feel take a step back or they may never get it. And, it's talking about the perfect time to whether you make a decision, hey, this guy's ascending or he can't do it. Been spark some funny narratives. I joke with you guys about hot takes in the public. There's been some hot takes in private on guys that have gone on or were close to getting traded that are probably going on to become, all pro players. Just give it a little more time. And it's never going to be perfect, but it's do the best you can every day to try to evaluate that and make those decisions.
Balance in your kind of position, like because at some point you have to make decisions.
You do, and you're going to make clear decisions. You try to be as objective as possible. You try to take emotion out of it, and because that's hard. I think it's the hardest thing to do is to not be emotional when a guy has a bad practice or ran the wrong route on one play, and you're fired up about it. That's why you need to take a step back and to really be objective.
How's the punter competition coming along?
I don't know the vet. D-Led, are you taking fines here? Or you're the vet.
Get on that. How's that punting competition, going, and then the long term? I know you guys.
That one's a little bit different. We obviously had pretty big expectations for Pinion, for Bradley. He's the vet, and as he's out here, but Seth's the guy we're enjoying working with, and they'll have opportunities, but I mean, it's not. I mean, Bradley, we anticipate him being the main guy, but Seth's a guy we're in here to develop. We'll see how happens. I mean, we'll play the best guy, but.
With regards to the offensive line, is there a timeline that you would like to have that set so that they can kind of get some continuity together?
I mean, obviously, you'd rather sooner than later. You would have chemistry, but you're going to have to deal with injuries and guys that can go in there in a pinch and play a spot, whether it's a swing tackle or a guard has to go in there and play center or vice versa. You'd rather sooner or later, but we'll let it play out when we feel is necessary to make that decision.
Charlie, this O-line competition, with you being a former lineman,
Right.
Physicality, what are you looking for?
Well, it's just not just physicality. I mean, you want guys that play physical, but you want guys that have technique and can do the minimum job requirement and block their guy, and it sounds so simple, but it's a competition in there, and it's a lot of conflict inside. So certainly you like the guys that have that physicality to them and that intent, but they got to be able to have the emotional control and the mental capacity. There's a lot of things we ask them to do pre-snap, and I don't think these guys get enough credit for how intelligent these guys are. Also, there's a play clock going, and you may package a play, and it can change your assignment. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to sit here, and I'm about to set on Aaron Donald. Oh, wait, nope, I'm backside cutoff, and it can go like that. So there's a lot of things you see at the line of scrimmage, their decision-makings, they hesitate, can they anticipate their technique, and so a lot goes into it.
Chance to visit with Rashawn. He was talking about taking some of the younger guys out for dinner, getting to know them, and about the culture. What do you see out of him early and about that veteran leadership you can prove?
Yeah, very pleased with him so far. Obviously, a guy we were familiar with. I think, he sees the opportunity. He's here on a one-year contract. Guys had some success, and he was available, and he's here to prove that. The flashes he had in Tennessee. So I'm excited about Rashawn, and hopefully he continues to improve.
I know you've got decisions to make on the O-line who starts whatever, but how do you feel about the group maybe compared to the group last year at this point?
Yeah, certainly. I think we're further along. I think guys, there's also some things too about the developing and consistency. You talk about scheme, you talk about coaching. I think a lot of times too that you see this happen all the time in this league. It's kind of comical. People get concerned with some stats that may not matter here, and they make these grand acclamations, and people overreact, and you're flipping through position coaches, and it's times you need to make sure that you're sound in what you're doing, and I think there's a lot of growth in that room, and been very pleased with 95% of that group. Certainly, that's why I do like the preseason. We're going to get a good evaluation of these guys and how they play, and we'll have 3 opportunities and 2 joint practices, or 2 teams with joint practice.
I guess for the coach guys really quickly, growing up around your father, I was just interested in knowing how much of your leadership skills come from him in the business.
I don't want to discredit my mother, but I don't. I've gone on record. I don't compare myself. I was thankful I had 2 great parents. I never thought that any of my siblings or my parents, and I've gone on multiple records, never thought anything they did, something I did. Just thankful I've got a great family and good parents.
Why did you decide to go the route you did versus maybe go to the gambling business?
That's not a family business. It's a big corporation, publicly traded. We all chase our passion, and we're fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do that. Some people don't ever have those opportunities, and certainly chase the passion, and I love this sport, and I have since I was a little kid.
Arthur, this team is much bigger than the team you had a year ago. Have you already seen that show up in practice, or
You feel it out there?
Yeah.
Certainly in the lines of scrimmage you can. And that's what I was talking about, some of the stuff. And challenging guys outside. It's been good for our corners as well. And it's really good for our defense too, just even the rush angles and guys transitioning and having to defend a guy that can pull the ball down and run. I mean, that's about half this league now. It feels like quarterbacks that can break contain.
There are a lot of these players on this 1 year kind of prove it deal. What is the difference in coaching like that, where a lot of people are trying to make their key?
Well, you try to look at the positives. I mean, you need that competition, and it's just the reality of where we're at. Like I said, you get obstacles thrown in here, and it's my job to find solutions, not to make excuses, and that's what we're trying to do. So some of it's not a necessity, and some of it is certain guys that we want to get a look at them. I think the thing that gets scary the most is if you give out a bunch of big money on a free agent contract and you have no idea about the guy's work habits, and so there's a lot of opportunity here, and guys are earning jobs, and maybe they earn a second contract with us.
Does it change kind of the vibe of the team when all these people are, does it raise the level of competition and drive for these guys? When you get paid,
but you want that every year, and it's hard. I mean, you got to make sure that the guys you reward are the right guys, because if you don't, the worst thing you can have is somebody get satisfied and they stop working. And so every year it's our charge, no matter if you have a lot of success, to make sure you get the right guys in here, because every year is a new journey.
Just quickly, Terry told us Brian Edwards had a shoulder. Is that a minor deal like you mentioned the other day? Just want to get an update on him.
Like I said earlier here, you can take the statement and just go on that. So I don't anticipate anything long term, but we'll see.
The NFL gave Deshaun 6 games.
Yeah, I focus on our team. Like I said, I don't ever claim to have all the facts, and I'm not going to give you a take on league issues. I'm just going to focus on the Falcons and where we're at right now.
Well, I didn't want to. Was that half speed or 3/4 or what? How did y'all try to? I know you're talking about easing them back in. I know that wasn't full go, but I don't know what do y'all call the speed today? Speed at practice today.
Are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching, but I know what I saw, but I don't
different
know what
periods.
y'all call it. Yeah.
Not every period is full speed, but
right.
Pricing. I mean, you want to watch the tape.
I didn't know if y'all call it or what did y'all call it or whatever. So I didn't know how to characterize it. It's kind of.
We practiced. And there are certain periods where you may not go full speed when you're in some teach periods, but we practice.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.